Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to Arts and Lifestyle Wednesday, presented by Cinematic Visions. I have to admit I'm not much of a ballpark foodie. That's in part because I've spent most of my adult life in press boxes, not in the seats as a fan, but also because I really don't go to a game to eat. I go to maybe have a beer and watch a game. But for many people, a big part of the experience is what they dine on at a ball game. And out at Children's Mercy Park for the Sporting Kansas City games this year, the menu is on the upgrade. Sporting Kansas City making a concerted effort to make the ballpark dining experience more culinary and less just ordinary. They have come up with some new and interesting dining options for this year. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the game with a beverage or something tasty to eat, the product on the field is obviously important as a part of making the whole experience a good one. So we're going to combine a few things today on our Arts and Lifestyle Wednesday. We're going to look at what's cooking at Sporting Kansas City, literally in the concessions area, and figuratively as far as the product on the field. That was off to a flying start on Saturday night in Vancouver. And of course, the home opener is Saturday night. So we're going to have a menu of food and soccer as well, right here on Arts and Lifestyle Wednesday, presented by Cinematic Visions. It's all tasty and it's all straight ahead. Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production, to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Visions' goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300. We're visiting with Larry Marshall, former Chiefs defensive back and punt returner and now a Chiefs ambassador. Larry is a former pro football player with the aches and pains that come with that. And moving on in age, as we all are, what do the Canaway CBD products do for you?
It's been a great relief for me. Being a punt and kickoff returner, collisions were a mainstay of my career, and these Canaway products, the salve especially, has really helped me try to get through every day with the aches and pains that I've had over a career of 7+ years in the NFL.
I get similar benefits as well, particularly with my back. Certainly wasn't a football player. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information about the great products themselves?
Well, I'm so enthused about it, Dana. They just contacted me at larrymarshall.canaway.com, and I can give them all the information they need to help them get through the day as well.
Start gaining all the benefits that Larry and I do from the trusted and reliable line of Canaway products. As Larry said, visit larrymarshall.canaway.com and get information on all the great products from Canaway. Are you thinking of starting a new business? Does your current business feel stuck? Or are you just trying to grow what you already have? Running a business is a lot of work, and it takes the right team to make it all happen. If you're looking to grow your business, call my friends Ben and Greg over at Fuego Consulting. They put together a company that can help you reach your business goals. Whether you're looking to get online, build a social media strategy, or rebrand your business, they can help. Call Fuego at 816-663-9695 or visit them online at fuegoconsulting.com. Fuego Consulting. Let's grow your business together.
If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at danny@dannyclinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
We're visiting with John Monca, the Executive Vice President of Stadium Revenue here with Sporting Kansas City. Really fun event today. We get to combine the culinary aspect of the stadium with the soccer aspect. And I said in my open that, we're having this is a menu on the podcast today where the product that you're rolling out is in two phases. The stadium experience that people will have in upgrading that, and also the soccer itself that we're seeing with the players and the coach out here. Just talk about the initial germ of the idea of making this the year that you went for a serious upgrade in the food?
Yeah, well, sorry about that. Well, thanks for having me. This year, we had a little bit longer off season than we would normally like, and actually we started working on just really what we wanted to do on the food side going back to last June. We really do listen to our fans, and we were getting some negative feedback about the food that we're serving on the concession side. And to be honest with you, that was probably the one aspect of the experience here that we really hadn't gone through and just over-designed like we had in many of the other areas. And so we spent a lot of time with the hospitality or the culinary team and with our marketing team and even our retail team, just diving into food trends. And we really wanted to offer food to our fans that would enhance their experience, of course, help them make memories. But we wanted food that we'd be proud of, and we're really proud of this.
Let's take it from the basic part. One thing you've done is create the value menu aspect, and as was mentioned by Jake Reed in his presentation, is the fact that those nuts and bolts things that we think about, popcorn, hot dogs, nachos, they really are still what 80% of the people are going to consume. So that's important, and for those 80%, you're creating better price points.
Yeah, you're right. So just like Jake said, if you want to look at our top 10 or 20 items, they're certainly going to be the things that people expect. So, the hot dogs, the nachos, the pretzels, the popcorn. And so we wanted to make sure that we really had a great value on those items. And for people who are foodies or just interested in trying new things, we want to make sure that we had something for those people as well.
20%, is an area to serve and an important area, and you want food, as you say, to be that you're proud of. Then the idea, of course, is if you're going to create sort of a gourmet lineup of food, to find a price point that satisfies them, but also makes it worthwhile. That if you're going to be just doing 20% of your food revenue with this and spending that kind of money on the infrastructure and everything else, that it has to be worth your while too.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't take what Jake said around the 80% too literally. So
I don't think that's necessarily that high.
No, I would look at it more from this perspective. When you're operating a concessions business, to some degree, you're operating a bar. So 70% of our revenue has come from beverages in the past, and 30% from the food side. And we anticipate that we'll continue to sell through as much beverage as we ever have, but we'd like to bring the food volume up.
Yeah. And you think that this is a way, because a lot of times when I come to a game, and normally I'm covering it, but when I come as a fan, I usually don't eat, because I don't eat hot dogs. I like popcorn, but I'm like, I'm going to have a beer and watch the game. But now, if you've got choices like this, you can make it a restaurant night out kind of, and enjoy a sporting event.
Yeah, 100%. So, you're obviously a healthy guy. I'm standing here next to you. And, the stereotypical stadium cuisine isn't particularly healthy. But, we have options this year in a location like the World's Kitchen that, you'll see falafel, for example. Maybe not the healthiest, but it's something that you don't always see in a stadium. And, we have a marketplace where you'll see some healthy options. So we definitely wanted to give a variety of items that we wouldn't probably offer, to be honest, if we were just looking at how many items or units could we sell, for example, the falafel.
Now, you've brought on 12 vendors or so, and some national, a lot local, however. And what it creates is an environment where, you're not going to have the same choices all around the stadium. If you're going to go to BRGR, you got to walk over there. If you're going to, but it's all different things in all different parts of the stadium.
Yeah, everyone's got different food tastes, and your food taste may change from a Monday to a Thursday. And so we really wanted to cover, I think, the 8 biggest bases that we see out there on the food side, from BRGR perspective, just having great burgers, or Taco Republic, same company, obviously great Mexican cuisine, and And, being in Kansas City, we knew we had to bring our A game around barbecue, and we're doing that with collaboration we're doing with the American Royal Barbecue. So we have, a variety of really incredible partners, many of which I haven't touched on yet, but we definitely wanted to cover the bases so that no matter what you like to eat or, the day of the week, we've got something for you.
John Monka is our guest. He oversaw the rehab of the food industry here at Children's Mercy Park. The other aspect, it seems to be, and Jake also talked about this, is the fact that you just didn't bring in an international restaurant or a Mexican restaurant or whatever. The choices within each template that you made were meant to be a little bit out of the box.
Yeah, I'd say out of the box. That's a good way to describe it. But, we really wanted to partner with some great local companies. And, we do have some food experts here, but we knew we could learn a lot from just the local community. Someone I didn't talk about, but we've known really well for, almost 10 years now is Patrick Ryan from Port Fonda. And so, just in working on this project with him, we've learned a tremendous amount, and we're really excited for our fans to have the opportunity to, eat Port Fonda here at Children's Mercy Park.
And Rieger is one of your local sponsors as well, and distilled beverages. And it was mentioned that you also are in a position where you learn more about maybe your beverage approach from people who are professionals in the trade.
Yeah, Jake, our CEO and my boss said something I thought really interesting this past week in the media that I totally agree with. And, he was talking about partnerships and in sports. Oftentimes, that just means trading a check. And Jake said, is that really the spirit of partnerships, or are partnerships about doing cool things together? And, certainly with Jay Rieger and Co., and we're standing here at their bar in our stadium, this was a group of people that is really aligned with us just around creating amazing experiences. And obviously, they've got international acclaim around what they're doing on the cocktail side, and we're just really excited to collaborate with them and of course, for our fans to get to experience that here on Saturday.
You mentioned that the feedback that you got from the fans was sort of the genesis or the accelerator for doing this. What were their biggest complaints?
Well, this is something that we wanted to do for a long time. And so, maybe it was a bit opportunistic on my side, but we did get some negative feedback. Going back, I'm thinking of last summer, and, there was some feedback from fans that wasn't kind around the variety of our menus, as well as the quality of the product. And, we took that seriously. I think anyone that comes out to a match and gets something to eat or drink this year will see that. So, definitely opportunistic, something we wanted to do for a long time, and we thought the time was right when we heard some feedback, especially in social media, that was geared towards Jake. So I don't think we'll have that this year.
If you were to come out here and just now have one item, I don't know if you sampled them all, but give me one or two items that really ring your bell.
Yeah, so we had several tastings as we're just dialing in the menus, and an item I was really surprised about. It's kind of a unique combination of two things, but in our World's Kitchen, there's an item called kimchi tots. And it's got kimchi.
I just had them.
Yeah, the kimchi, the Korean cuisine over top of tater tots, and the combination really works. That's the item that I'd say if you want to try something you probably never had before, try the kimchi tots.
And so after this year, you just kind of soak in what was done, or is this a 2-3 year evaluation, or what do you think you'll do?
No, this is just a starting point. So, one of the things I think we're really interested in doing in the future is converting our belly-up concession stands. That's, the traditional stand where you walk up to a counter and place an order. We want to convert that into more of a marketplace, grab-and-go type experience. So this is the first wave of something that's going to be more like probably a 6-year project for us.
That's really cool, and I appreciate you taking the time. And I got to get back to my samples.
All right. Thanks a lot, Danny.
That's the food aspect of the season kicking off in successful fashion for Sporting Kansas City. And, of course, on the field, a great debut in Vancouver. And this Saturday it will be the home opener where you can come out and sample some of the new food items and also sample some of the great soccer that Peter Vermes is putting out. Looks like it's going to be a very exciting team with a different bit of a twist, maybe a little more offensive and spectacular, at least off of that first game. And Peter Vermes will weigh in on that coming up next.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker, the president of Easton Roofing. And Joe, you worked for other companies in the construction industry. What inspired you to start your own company in Easton Roofing?
Well, Danny, when you are working for somebody else, you oftentimes don't get to see the project through from beginning to end, and you don't get the final control over the customer experience. And I wanted to build a place where people can come and get work done on their house and not have to worry about being treated the wrong way and get a good customer service experience start to finish.
The company slogan is "Where Integrity Matters." Why is that so particularly important to you?
Well, for us, what that means is treating each other with respect at work, treating our clients with respect, and making the right choice, especially when no one's looking. So when you're presented all the time as a contractor with choices that have to be made, are you going to make more money on this if you cut a corner? And we just wanted to make a place and a slogan that said to our people and to whoever is our customer, we're not going to do that. We're going to make the right choice regardless of profit.
Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
Hey guys, it's Brian Haney, voice of the Jayhawks, and Matt Llewellyn from the 23rd Street Brewery. Matt, I've got a bunch of buddies coming over to watch the big game, and I need some ideas on what to cook.
Hey, let me handle it, Brian.
You're going to come over and cook for us?
For you? Maybe. But you should just let 23rd Street Brewery cater it. We could bring a big pan of Bill Self mac and cheese, wings, veggies, naked nachos, and anything else you might want.
Great. Well, you want to stick around and watch the game?
No, I've got to get back to the brewery and watch it on the big screen.
The place to get great catering and watch all the games, the 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence.
For many people, a family law case will be one of the most difficult experiences in their life. The law firm of Kenneth McRae will help you through it. Personal and effective help from Ken in concert with you will develop a unique strategy for your unique case. As Ken always says, divorce can be civil law, not civil war. Licensed in Kansas? Visit McRaeLawOffice.com or call 913-972-4765.
My friends at Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture are among the most accomplished and trusted clinics in the nation. Only one clinic has been rated in the top 5 in all 3 categories of chiropractic care, acupuncture, and rehabilitation, and that clinic is ASFCA. They have locations in Olathe, Overland Park, Prairie Village, Belton, and Lee Summit. Doctors Brad and Christina Woodle and their accomplished team of doctors and therapists will treat you like family, for the simplest of injuries to the most complicated conditions to avoid surgery. Whether you are seeking treatment for an injury or just looking to stay healthy and fit, this is the place for you. And it's been the place for me for almost 2 years now. I have been a strenuous daily exerciser for years, and as time goes on, that takes its toll. But regular appointments at Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture have helped keep me ticking on, and even as the years pile up, their regular care has allowed me to keep to my regimen and feel great. If you want to feel the same, give them a call or visit them at asfca.com/Danny. They accept all insurances and are open Monday through Saturday, and make sure to mention that Danny Clinkscale recommended Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyClinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Welcome back to Arts and Lifestyle Wednesday, presented by Cinematic Visions. Well, you've had your arts and lifestyle and menu portion of this podcast. Now let's get on to, maybe a little dessert of pure soccer. With the comments of Peter Vermes about the state of Sporting Kansas City after their big victory against Vancouver to open the season on the road 3-1, and with the home opener coming up against the Houston Dynamo this Saturday. First up, Peter Vermes talks about the 2 newcomers who were so impactful in the first game, Alan Polito and Gadi Kinda, both big money signings who helped Sporting KC to its first 3 points of 2020 with a goal apiece, and both in spectacular fashion.
It's a big boost for the team, for those individual players, fans, ownership, staff, everyone. And the reason being is because, you make your, at the end of each season, you make your assessments, right? And I got to get this logo right. You make your assessments of your season, and then you make some decisions on whether it's players you're keeping, players you want to bring in, and then players that you selected and you decided to invest, heavily in, if you will. And everybody has a part in that. And I mean that, everyone, fans, everybody has a part in that. And so for those guys to make an impact immediately obviously helps them individually because they want to show their value right off the bat. And I don't mean money value. They want to show their value as players, what they can bring to the club. One. Two is the players that have been here now believe that those guys are the right guys. Ownership, I'm not just the coach. I'm also the general manager. So it's my decision to say yes or no to those players or say these are the players we're going for. So there's no doubt that, Polito scores, Kinda scores, Puncic gets the assist on Polito's goal. I mean, goodness, you couldn't have got any better and from a general manager's perspective. So, and then for our fans, we do it away from home. Now we come home, and I think they already have an affinity to those new players because they see that they're already producing. All of that helps in the big scheme of things for sure. But I'm also a realist, right? It's first game, and we have a lot to do. We have a lot to work on. The team we're playing this weekend is very good, just like every other team in our league is. And I think one of the reasons why over the years that we've been competitive is that we have always realized and understood that every team in this league can beat you on any given day, and that's why you have to be ready and prepared for each one of those games. I think every team that we're going to play this season is going to have some certain nuance in their game that we're going to have to pay attention to. At the same time, we have a particular way that we play, and we're also going to test that against teams when we play them, and they're going to have to worry about certain things that we do as well. And so it's a fine balance. Our style is never one of reckless abandon by any means, but you also have to have respect for your opponent when you play. But we also have to play our way, and so it's a combination of all those things. It's not just one. You got to focus on this one thing. It's the same thing when teams play against Barcelona, right? If you just focus on Messi, well, that's great because he'll take 3 or 4 guys and take them off to the side, and then he'll find one of the other open guys, and they go score anyway. So you have to have an idea of what you're playing against, and at the same time, you also have to find where you think your advantages and opportunities are against your opponent, and that's what we'll prepare for this week. It's kind of like you're coming back home. You've been away for a while, and you're now coming back home and getting reintroduced to everybody. That's the first thing. I think the second thing is that no matter what, you want to show who you are, who you can be, what you have to offer, and so that proving is a big part of it. The other is that I remember, I think it was 2011 when we were opening up the stadium. That first 10 games were on the road. I had never calculated prior to that season how important it was to be in front of the home fans, and the fact that we were away those first 10 games, the guys really missed it because any good plays they did away from home, it wasn't like the other crowd, was cheering for them. So they didn't get that connection. And I remember in amongst of those 10 games, I think around the 7th or 8th game, we played an Open Cup game out at Blue Valley Northwest in Overland Park, and I think we won the game like 6-0 or 7-0 or 7-1 or something. And it was incredible, like the reaction of the crowd. The guys scored their first goal, and the fans were cheering, and they were like, "Where are we?" And I don't know, did we win 10-0? No. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it was New England, that's right. And so just that feeling of excitement from the crowd was huge. And I think, again, as I told the guys when we went to the home opener in Vancouver, I was like, look, they're going to be charged up. They're going to have their home fans behind them. It's our job to try to take the sting out of that as quick as we can. And, scoring the goal will definitely help that for sure. Good reaction, too, after they scored. We didn't allow, that momentum to keep going. We were able to, find a way with the second one. Game schedule is pretty good in that we just play week to week for a long time. I mean, I know that the U.S. Open Cup's going to come up at some point, but for me, it's going to be game to game. It's going to be we do have a lot of very good players in the team. We have a lot of competition in position at the moment. We had that last year, but unfortunately, we were succumbed to a number of injuries that were, at times insurmountable, and that took away competition in position. Hopefully, we'll have a level of health that will keep the competition, and the best lineup is going to prevail week after week, and it's that simple. There's no magic formula in that. We're sporting fit. It's like a Navy SEAL. Navy SEAL goes in, or a guy who wants to become a Navy SEAL has to go in. The first thing they do is they test him physically. If he can't pass the physical, he's done. If you can do the physical, now later on you have to find out if he's intelligent and all those other things. But the first thing is physical, and you get tested that way because if you can pass that aspect of it, already you're mentally tough. You can then meet the challenges of being a Navy SEAL. For here, we play a certain way. And if you want to play in this club, you have to be sporting fit. And I would commend all the guys because we gave them the hardest off-season training program we've ever given them. And they all came back having done that. And it also, I think, was proven in the game. Our game was of high intensity, and we lasted for 90 minutes, and I think we were stronger as the game went on. Kai is a game changer in that it's hard for an outside back to match up with a guy who's 6'3" and just an athletic monster like he is. He's good on the ball. He's got an incredible work rate. A lot of times guys with that stature, that build, you're either one of two things. You're either fast, but you're not a conditioned guy, or the other way. And he's got both. And then he's got an incredible team mentality in which he plays on both sides of the ball. He's very responsible in that regard. The player that he was playing against, Adnan, is a very good left back, and he's very imposing because he almost – I don't think he does this because it's malicious, but he gives off the sense at times like, forget defense, I'm going forward. And you have a choice to make. Do you want to follow and defend him, or do you want to leave him be? And if you leave him be, he can take over from that left-hand side. And so I thought that Kai did a great job defending him, and at times, overpowered him a little bit. And that was a part of the reason why we played that way and got prepared that way. But to the earlier question about players and all those other things, as long as players are playing well, they're going to have a great impact on the team. If they're not playing well, then they won't. And that's why competition within a team is very important. And we're going to continue to hopefully have that all over the field. Winston Reed is coming along. Is a guy just needs rhythm of play. But you see him, he's 6'3", and I'll tell you right now, he could play linebacker for the Chiefs. I mean, he is a big guy, and how agile he is, and how good on the ball he is. So, we need that. We need that high level every day in training, but also we need that opportunity for other guys to be at their best, and that's going to be a big help. And whether it's Kyrie or anybody else, that's what we need in the team. When you have a lot of injuries, what happens is you're forced into doing things, and then also what happens is that maybe a player that shouldn't be playing is playing, and he's not sure. Now he thinks he's playing because, I'm good enough or I'm better, but that's not necessarily the case. And it changes the mentality within your team. And so, health, fitness, all those things are very important to the success of any team in any season. But to be able to, bring guys like that off the bench at any time in any game is huge. And every player that comes in has to make an impact. And by the way, they all did. And I would submit to you that Boos, when he came on, for a kid his age, 17, to come into a game like that, game's 2-1, and we need him to now be in a part of a field where he's got to be able to go both ways in the midfield, and with a team who right now is trying to get back in the games, playing home opener, all those things, for him to play as calm as he was, good on the ball, picking the right choices to win, to make a pass, whether it's penetrating ball, to keep possession, whatever it might be, different levels. So all three guys really, really helped us in that moment. And then I would agree with Nate. What the third goal does, it does two things. One is it closes out the game, gives the guys a really big uplift, but it also gives all those guys that came in the confidence to understand that, how much of an impact they have to the team, and it's not just a ceremonial sub, because I don't look at those things that way. I need guys to go, when they go in the game, to understand that the impact that they need to have in the game. And it doesn't matter if we're winning, 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, or if we're losing, you got to come in and have that impact. We got to play more games because there's going to be games where this last game was kind of wide open. There's going to be games where we play where the other team parks the bus, and that takes a different solution. And are we going to get it all right in the first game we play something like that? I don't think so. And we're going to have to become nimble, because our league is just because of the number of teams in our league. There's going to be teams that play different ways. And we have to be nimble to be able to adapt. And I don't mean adapt necessarily how we defend those guys. Yeah, at times you do. But more importantly, how do you break those teams down? And that's going to, we haven't seen enough of that yet. So it's going to take time. It's going to take games to see that through. Do we have the potential to do things? Yeah, we do, because we have some really high-quality players in our team that, frankly, in no disrespect to the guys that we've had in the past here, but we've gone to another level with some guys. I don't really have negative thoughts. It's hard for me to explain that. I'll do my best. But like when I'm thinking about a player, I'm putting a lineup together, I don't go into the game going, oh, my God, I can't believe we got to play that guy. Like I always think that the guy's going to do well, right? My job is no matter how many players that we have on the roster, they're on the roster because I want them to be there until we get rid of them, right? That's what it is. And so it's our job to make them the best players we can make them. And so when I put a guy into the lineup, or I put a guy in as a sub, I expect them to do well. So right now, I expect all the guys at some point that are, if we talk just homegrowns, I expect all them to get chances this year because they're doing well. I'll give you an example. Like last year when we signed Cam Duke, he was injured. And he wasn't coming out of this injury. He kept re-injuring it, and everybody was wondering what's going on with this kid. And so he had the off season like everybody else. He comes back in preseason, and he's gone like this from what we saw last year, and that's great. And so I don't want to – I'm not acting surprised from that. That's my expectation. I want all those guys to make it one day. So – but we have to keep evaluating all the time. There's a lot of changes in clubs, whether it's player personnel, there's staff personnel that changes. There's a lot of change. And so that in itself, that's why I was saying you have to be flexible and nimble because you're going to be playing against a lot of different styles. The Seattle-Chicago game the other night, like Chicago just changed their whole system of play. They're playing up-tempo, pressing high up the field. Now we only play them one time this year. I'm just using them as an example. There's a lot of changes, and you have to, again, be very flexible in your team and the way that you play and the things that you're going to be doing. You have to be there. The other is that the more teams that come in the league, that also means that it's more recruitment, right? Because everybody needs players. And so you're fighting for the ones in college. You're fighting for the ones that are in free agency. You're fighting for the ones for trades. You're fighting for the ones overseas. It's just on and on and on. And it's, it's becoming very competitive in every arena. Staff members, all of that. You guys probably don't really know this all that much, but we've also lost a lot of staff members to a lot of new clubs coming in because they get promoted. They get promotions, and we already have people in our place, and we've cultivated the qualities of those individuals in our club, and now they're gone and they're going somewhere else, and we have to start again. And so there's just a lot of things that you're constantly having to create new strategies for. But I will say that our whatever you want to call it. I call it our talent identification department is doing a very good job in a short period of time. So we've invested a lot of money in that area over the last 18 months, and they've done a really good job thus far.
And we'll see how it pays off. It looks good early on for Sporting Kansas City. They were very impressive in their opener, and the new additions certainly did a big part. And now it's on to the grind of the season in MLS as Sporting Kansas City tries to bounce back from that disappointing season last year, the first time in a whole long time. They didn't make the playoffs, and all the fans can come out and enjoy it and maybe sample some of the food we talked about in segment 1 as Sporting tries to get things off to a fast start in their home schedule Saturday night.
This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, the presenting sponsor of Kansas City Profiles at the Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new.